Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Now that I'm done losing my little match to Ray Allen here on the golf course, we now take some time, sit down, have a bite to eat, and talk about something that is near and dear to his heart, the medical care of children, something that his foundation is focusing on, and something the Allen family knows all too much about. The Ray of Hope Foundation is one of your favorite aspects of giving back.
That's awesome what you're doing for the kids.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
How has it been putting those roots down here in Miami with the foundation?
You always find people that want to help in some aspects, and one of the greatest things that I've realized being here is everybody on this team has some form of a foundation, a way that they give back, and all those same people attend your events, and they want to donate money, and they want to help your cause be successful.
He is such a role model for our youth. It's amazing what he's doing.
Miami Children's Hospital has become very near and dear to you. I know in the off-season, a friend of the Heat, Mike Fernandez, had an event, and you supported it. Why is that so important to you?
We've spent far too many nights in the Children's Hospital over the years, and most people know that we have a son that has diabetes, so we know what it means to go in the hospital and have the things that you need just to take care of your child. So the Children's Hospital should be a staple of every community that we're a part of. And, you know, my good friend Mike Fernandez, he walked 500 miles, went to Spain to raise money for the Children's Hospital. And the greatest thing about it is he could have donated the money. You know, he could have asked some of us to donate the money, but it takes away from the community aspect of it. And it's important that we all chip in because it'll come a point where we'll all have to use it.
And I'm 6 years old and I live in Miami. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 17 months old. Got diabetes. Since then, life for myself and my family has changed forever. Every day, my mom and dad checks my blood sugar 10 times a day. Every day, my mom and dad give me insulin injections to keep me alive. Every single time I go to the doctor's office, I ask my mom, do they have my cure yet? My dream in life is to play in the NBA like my dad. We need a cure for type 1 diabetes, but we can't do it alone. Please join our team. I have hope.
You guys have put yourself out there with these PSAs, and including Walker. What do you hope the message is on the receiving end that people get when you have Walker front and center?
When we went through this whole process and learning how to manage his diabetes, first and foremost, our goal was to keep him healthy, keep him alive.
I'm tired. I want to go to sleep.
When he was stricken with diabetes, I was playing in the championship in 2008, and I had to ask myself, you know, what is the purpose? You know, why are we dealing with this at this point? And I said it's important that we let people know what we're dealing with. So if other families have to deal with this, they know that it's not just them. You know, I play in the NBA, and my contract amount is this many years and this many dollars, but life still happens to me just the same, and we're not all shunned from, you know, the tough things that happen in life to ourselves and our kids.
Tell us what you tried to do this summer and push the legislative process on the federal level of what's happening with research and a fight.
We got up there in front of the Committee on Aging, and we just talked about our story and what we dealt with. So the senators that were in the building could understand, from my perspective as a professional athlete, what it is that I had to deal with in dealing with a son with diabetes and the challenges that we face every day, and why it's important that we continue to fund Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, the ERI, because it's not just type 1 diabetes, but it's also type 2.
You are clearly into health and fitness at a level that is far and above your colleagues. Tell us about this new diet.
Paleo diet started last year. My wife started doing it, and I seen how her body changed. So I said, you know, when the season's over, I'll try it too, because I want to see how I can keep my body dormant but active in that off-season. And I had to work so hard to get back into shape when the season starts. So literally, I stopped eating anything that had any type of sugar in it. So from June 24th to July 17th, I weighed myself. I was 197 pounds, and that's the last time I weighed that. I was in college, and I got real slim, and I still felt great.
My understanding is once you're done with basketball, you want to dibble and dabble inside the Ironman.
I push myself pretty hard every day, getting the ultimate sweat on the basketball court. But my ultimate test is still out there waiting for me, and I feel like that's going to test not only me physically, but me mentally. And I want to start with a marathon. And for most people that don't know, my mom ran 2 of them, and my wife ran 1. You know, I've been a runner my whole life, running cross country, but I believe anybody could do it.
When we were in Washington, we spent some time with our First Lady, Michelle Obama, shooting a public service announcement.
What about you, Ray?
Drinking water is an important part of my pregame routine so I can stay focused and refreshed.
How awesome was that?
It was great. When you step into the political world where the president knows your name and the First Lady knows you, it holds you to task and it shows you that, wow, we're one person, but we can be better in the light that we have because we can make a difference.
You led a very insightful, thinking, feeling trip to the Holocaust Museum. Why did you think that was important for your teammates' experience?
Going to that museum, I wanted everybody to see how tough times were back then. And every culture has had some type of negative history. But that was just one example to show people that, you know, we can grow from this and we can be better. And it's important to understand what happened to them so we don't ever make that mistake again.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat here at the beautiful Turnberry Isle Resort and Club in Aventura, Florida. Ray Allen's position in Heat history is simply a forever factor. That jump shot from the right corner in Game 6 of the 2013 NBA Finals is something we will always remember. And if you ever walk up on Ray, don't hesitate to say something about it. He doesn't mind discussing that amazing moment.
Ray is the all-time greatest shooter that this game has seen. I mean, the guy is just pure.
There are only a handful of players that absolutely strike fear into their opponent. And Ray is one of those players in clutch moments in particular.
Rebound Bosch. Out to Allen, shoots the corner 3.
Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
When we needed the biggest shot of our lives, you know, we saw, you know, Ray Allen. Out of all people you can see, Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. Since Game 6, has there been anything else people want to talk to you about other than that shot?
No.
Are you okay with that?
Very.
Okay.
Imagine the flip side of it and say, man, what happened?
I can't imagine the flip side.
Yeah, that's one of those scenarios that you just live with forever, and it's such a great story to tell.
You had a lot of emotion.
I was a slight bit angry. You're just sitting there in your own misery. It was a great educational moment of knowing that we can come back from anything.
Ask me the question again. Ask the question one more time.
That ring is beautiful, Ray. That ring is beautiful. When you won your second title, what did you feel? Was it any different than the first time?
I didn't compare it. It's equally as tough. It's the hardest season that you'll ever want to go through trying to win a championship. Because when you lose a game, you feel like the absolute worst. It's such a huge roller coaster of emotions.
In a show we did on those final moments of Game 6, Rashard Lewis, he said, Jesus came. How does it feel that people still refer to you as Jesus Shuttlesworth when he got game?
And, you know, at first I used to kind of get mad at it. Just kind of like my character in the movie. I hated it.
You were a method actor?
Yeah.
You went back in the...
And then, you know, somewhere around my 3rd or 4th year, I just embraced it because it was a good movie. Looking at it now, 16 years later.
And it still plays.
It still plays. It was on last night. I need to check the mail for my residual.
And number 34, Jay Shuttlesworth.
And this cool moment happens because there's the Miami Heat name collection. And when the team's in Brooklyn, Spike's right there.
Shuttlesworth.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first time he put it on.
He shot me working out before the game. We did some interviews.
We want to do the sequel, He Got Game, so we've been talking about that.
As we think about making possibly a He Got Game part 2, you'll have all that
ready to go.
With Shuttlesworth on the back of the jersey.
Shuttlesworth, nice step around, got to the free throw line and count the basket.
I don't know how Reggie Miller feels about this since you keep taking all of his milestones.
There it is, the NBA record for most trays in a postseason career.
I didn't think I played in that many playoff games to be holding that record. At the end of the day, it's all about, you know, longevity and keeping yourself committed to what your routine is.
Allen from downtown, kaboom! And with those points, Ray Allen reaches 24,000 career points.
24,000 points. Became the 6th active player to get there. Is that kind of another one of those legacy building dynamics?
Yeah, I mean, but when I look at 24,000 points, it started with one back in Milwaukee, back in '96. And there's 5,000 in between and 10,000 in between. And, you know, all those points, they matter.
What a career for the best three-point shooter in the business. Congratulations, Ray Allen.
How are you feeling at this point in your career?
I feel great.
Ray Allen with a block.
Ray Allen at 38 years old, getting up there, baby.
It's the point of me not to leave any stone unturned and make sure that I do everything I can, especially as I'm closing out my career. I don't want to have regrets. Like, get every rebound you can get, or just helping this team win is the most important thing. And, you know, trying to be efficient out there and, you know, help these guys think better. I want to always be a good example.
Before we close, go wide angle for me on this one.
Okay.
The shot is going to be seared into your legacy. So what do you want the whole takeaway to be?
When I leave, I want people to say, you know, he was one of the best that ever did it, and I'd love to always have that guy on my team in the fourth quarter.
It counts from half court. Ray Allen.
I want players to want to emulate those situations that I was put in and I was able to overcome.
They're also going to be able to say that man can golf his ball, too.
That would never
that he
change.
can golf his ball, without a doubt. But thanks for taking some time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ray Allen is still writing his legacy 18 seasons in to his NBA career. And the next chapter is ready to be penned as the Heat head toward the playoffs and go on their quest for another NBA championship. You know, the possibility of his all-time, all-world shooting ability could be, would be, and should be called on once again. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Inside the Heat. I am Jason Jackson.
You hit a lizard.
I wonder whose ball this is.
If you find the ball in the water, I didn't hit it.
It was somebody else.
Yeah, it was somebody else.
Gift. I'm an artist. Really nice what they've done with the landscaping here.